Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a couple of kooky crazy kids in love. Love reacting to some Pokemon.
Yes, we do.
So this is Loxon and Noggin's videos on every Pokemon type explained. And we are checking out normal type today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Normal. You know, we've covered nearly every single type now on this series. Dragon and Fairy are all that's left, and I wanted to save those for last because they're so cool. But I also kept putting off normal because, well, it's normal. It's boring, plain, the toast sandwich of Pokemon.
Toast
so
sandwich,
I'm going
damn.
to have to add a whole lot of jump fluff into this video to make it a decent length. Except I'm not, because that's a grass-type Pokemon. But at the very least, all Pokemon have inspirations, so we can still say something about these Pokemon, and maybe some of them are rather unique. Who knows? I don't yet.
The pink one has a sweet hairdo.
Actually, I've written it now. I'm voicing it. Oh man, times have changed. But still, the ultimate question of this series needs to be answered. Why are Pokemon the types that they are? What makes a normal type Pokemon normal? And which ones really are not normal? I'm Loxton, and this is every normal type Pokemon explained. But first, this video is sponsored by me! That's right, I'm sponsoring myself to show you this new video series we're doing. If you like these type videos, then you'll definitely like this series too. It's basically the same, but we're covering every single move instead. Yeah, every single Pokemon move, because we don't like taking it easy. The link is right here and in the description. Thanks so much for checking it out. Now then, let's start with categories. How the heck am I gonna categorize these? From most to least normal? As if I could figure that out case by case. So I'm just gonna wing it, starting with the first category of the normal flying Pokemon. It's the most common type combo ever. Heck, there's more normal flying Pokemon than fighting or bug Pokemon. Yeah, in this category we have Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot, Spearow, Fearow, Doduo, Dodrio, Farfetch'd, Hoothoot, Noctowl, Swablu, Taillow, Swellow, Chatot, Starly, Staravia, Staraptor, Rufflet, Braviary, Pidove, Tranquil, Unpheasant, Fletchling, Pikipek, Trumbeak, and Toucanon. 26 normal flying Pokemon. And the reasoning for this typing couldn't be any more straightforward. They are this type because they are birds. And that's about it. But then, why not just be flying type? Well, there's actually a fun fact in this. Originally, in the beta, the type was called bird type, and the birds were bird type instead of normal flying. But eventually, Game Freak decided to make flying separate from birds specifically, as more things can fly besides birds, like dragons and bugs. So flying type was more so treated as a property. They are in the air. They are flying type. They are immune from things happening on the ground. Then the only thing left to do is to differentiate between flying things that are fiery and flying things that aren't. So flying bugs are bug flying, Moltres the Firebird is fire flying, and these birds that are just birds are normal flying. And if you want to know the details about these bird Pokemon and what they are inspired by, they are all in the flying type video over here. They are all based on birds, and birds can fly, hence the flying type. So go check out that video for the details. And with that huge chunk out of the way, we can really start digging. The Pokemon that will only be in this video of this series, the pure normal type Pokemon. What are they, and why is that normal? Let's take a look at Sentret and Furist first. You know, I just realized that I wrote this pun in the script, and I have no idea how to get it across on screen. You see, I spelled first like the beginning of Furret's name. I'm getting sidetracked. What makes these Pokemon plain as day, as we can use that explanation for most of the normal mons? Well, Sentret is a... Why did I start with Sentret? What is this thing? Sentret is the every rodent. It's a flying squirrel, tanuki, rabbit, ferret. Now then, aren't all of those animals plain? Think about those animals from the perspective of us in the West and also those in Japan. These regions don't have many crazy animals like bird-eating spiders, tigers, platypus, giant tortoises, draconic lizards, etc. These are all unique and neat, but a squirrel-rabbit thing? Squirrels and rabbits are pretty plain, very normal. Hence the typing. Sentret is just a fictional animal, squirrel. And that's about all there is to it. In fact, yeah, let's make that the name of this category. Put it on screen in big white letters. Ah, yeah. Sentret then evolves into Furret, which is a giant ferret. Ah, yes. You know, let's have a speed round. I'll save the interesting ones for the end. Otherwise, let's get through this. Tauros is just a bull crossed with a bison with a cat o' nine tails whiptail. It's similar to Bouffalant, but with an afro and gold rings, 70s style. Miltank is a very round cow. Snorlax is a rather uniquely designed hibernating monster bear. Sleeping is a very normal thing to do, and that's what this thing is famous for. And Munchlax, its baby form, just eats constantly. And eating is a pretty normal thing to do.
Yeah, that's why
Kinda gotta do it to live.
think it's
Teddy
bigger, it just
Ursa
needs to
and
sleep 'cause it ate so
Ursaring
much.
are also just brown grizzly bears with elements from the sun bear and teddy bears. Zigzagoon is based on the Japanese raccoon dog, and Lanoon adds elements from the Japanese badger. Smeargle is odd, but most closely resembles a cartoonish beagle that likes to paint with its super long tail. Slackoth is a baby sloth, Vigoroth is a sloth crossed with a baboon, and Slacking is perhaps a giant ground sloth Bigfoot monster thing. And they
pig
got
nose.
a whole video to themselves, right here. Check it. It's nice. I love the thumbnail. I censored a man's butt with a Pokemon butt. Skitty is a pink kitty with cattail grass for a tail, or perhaps it's a dangly cat toy. And Delcatty is just a cat with a neck pillow so it can sleep wherever and whenever
Does
it
have a neck
wants.
pillow.
Lammeow is also just a cat, but with a springy tail. Fun fact, a springtail is a type of flea. Maybe it has fleas. Well, no. In this case, it's more likely a reference to some cat toys. Perugly is just an old, fat, cranky house cat. Meowth
Looks
is
cranky.
also just a cat, though it borrows from Japanese lucky cats with its whole lucky coin thing, and its main pose. And then its evolution, Persian, is just a puma. It's a puma, it's a puma, it's a puma. Dunsparce got a whole video about it not too long ago. It's a Tsuchinoko, a plain old little Japanese cryptid. And if you really dig into it, I argue it shouldn't be normal type. Reasons are in that video. The thing it's based on is venomous. It should be poison type. Stantler is a Sika deer with Shishiodoshi for antlers,
looks like it has
which
a
are
bunch of big
Japanese
butt.
devices used
Yep.
to scare deer away. Poor Stantler can't stand its own reflection. Kecleon is a chameleon doing normal chameleon things. At
Stubby
least
legs.
as normal as media likes to portray them. Bunnelby is a bunny, and so is Baneri. And Lopunny is too, but with bunny girl elements. Still popular in Japan today, and popular in the West in the 80s and
Should've been
90s.
Balmain
I only
Pop-
bring that up because
funny
then
outfit.
Mega Lopunny is also inspired from the 80s and 90s, though in this case, from their aerobic workout outfits. Mongoose is just a young mongoose, and Gumshoes is a mongoose detective.
I've never actually seen a
Furfrou
mongoose
is
before.
literally just a poodle. Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland are all just terriers. Patrat is an in-between of a prairie dog, chipmunk, and a meerkat. And Watchog is the same, but with a safety vest. Komala is a sleeping koala. What else is new? Mincino and Cincino are chinchilla feather dusters. They like to clean
Mincino.
stuff. A normal thing. Bidoof is a gopher mixed with a mountain beaver. Rattata and Raticate are just a rat and a muskrat. And Spinda is just drunk. Look at its wobble. Also, it's like a combination of a kindling panda and a rabbit. And those were the normalest of the normies. They probably play Apex Legends. The rest of the just normal type Pokemon are a lot more interesting and take a little longer to explain individually. So, the next category is still kinda normal, but not as plain at least. Kangaskhan is a good example to start with because no amount of convincing will tell me that this is a kangaroo. What? Is it just because it has a pouch? Tasmanian devils and possums have pouches too. Are they kangaroos? Well, the other part of its name is from Genghis Khan, the Mongolian warlord. And looking at its skull structure and back plates, I guess if you squint, it looks kind of like it's wearing Mongolian laminar armor. Anywho, I'm pretty sure it's just a made-up monster dinosaur thing with one element from a kangaroo. The pouch. Audino is also pretty unique. I mean, what the heck? This Pokemon would become sound type if that ever happens, as it's all about singing and having good hearing. Hence the huge elephant
Okay.
ears on this rabbit pig
He's wearing a
nurse
jacket.
with a stethoscope? Huh. Very unique. Audino is for sure normal, as that's what many sound-based moves fall under. Sound is a pretty everyday normal thing. That's why Whismur, Loudred, and Exploud are normal type too. They are just monsters that have sound
Hello,
powers
Whismur.
and pull design elements from earmuffs, speakers, and a massive organ. Did you know that sound can kill you? Video about this line here. Happiny, Chansey, and Blissey are egg mother nurses. Blissey looks kinda like Nurse Joy, and they're always helping her. These Pokemon are all about high health and healing. Again, a pretty normal thing. Apom and Ambipom are pretty normal. They are just monkeys with hands. How special. Also, Ambipom is one of my most hated Pokemon. Look at its face. But the hand on
You
the
hate its
tail
face?
thing is a reference to how many monkeys have prehensile tails that they use to grab onto branches to get around. And we can go even deeper. In Aztec mythology, there is Ahuizotl, a dog-monkey thing with a human hand on the end of its tail. Perhaps it's an inspiration, perhaps not. Lickitung and He Who Shall Not Be Named are also pretty unique in design, and they may pull from a mix of things
Lickitung.
like the Akaname yokai, which has a long tongue and a single claw on each foot, and then that gets mixed with a generic blorpy sort of lizard, as many lizards have long tongues that they use to catch prey, such as the chameleon, though Lickitung does have some traits similar to
Fat tongue, too.
iguanas, which may have led the designers to the iguanodon, as it shares the famous thumbs. Perhaps Lickitung is just a very fat, blorpy iguanodon. Oh, alright, I'll go over He Who Shall Not Be Named. It's even fatter, kinda like a balloon. It also looks like it's wearing a bib because it's so fat. It looks kinda like macaroni or dandy style fashion.
It's got
Think
upside down
Hansel
Wi-Fi.
and Gretel. Now let's move on before I have to look at that for another second. Cast form is what happens when science goes too far and you give flesh to a cloud. Yeah, this is flesh. It's gross to think about. This Pokemon changes form and type based on the weather, but
Aw.
always defaults to its normal self. Seen here, being normal, with its body looking like an H2O molecule crossed with a Japanese weather charm. The Teru Teru Bozu, Ditto, also changes form. That's its whole thing. It's able to transform into any other Pokemon it sees. But this is how it normally is. Its default form. Its
a blob.
normalness. Eevee is similar in that it too can change into many different things of many different types. But again, this is its default. Nothing special about it, so it's normal. Just
Cute.
like Arceus. Completely normal. It's just the god of the Pokemon world, the creator deity, nothing out of the ordinary. Just normal. Though, again, its normal typing is just its default. In the anime and even in-game canon, it's all types at once. Or
Well, 'cause
rather,
the god,
it can
yeah.
switch between types whenever it pleases using its plates. But in gameplay, this would be very overpowered. So instead, you give it one plate at a time and it becomes that type for the battle. But again, normal is the default. Also, could you just imagine if in-game Arceus was all types at once? What would that balance out to? What Pokemon would be good against a god like that? Well, I explained it all in this video here. Man, this video is just full of shameless plugs.
Calling it out doesn't make it less shameless.
But speaking of Arceus, Type Null and its evolution. Sylvali were an attempt at recreating Arceus by Team Aether. Thus, it too is normal type by default, but can switch between types. Man, and it looks like an odd hodgepodge of creature parts. Poor thing. It's like an alchemical chimera. Regigigas is big.
Ooh.
Really big. Strong too. And that's about it. It doesn't really have powers. It's just big
big?
and strong. So strong that
Okay.
it's said to have one time pulled
need
the
powers.
continents. But still, it's just a big giant. That's all it is. Now then, there are two more pure normal type Pokemon lines we haven't touched on, and that's because I am of the opinion that they should not be normal type, or rather, not just normal type. Let's start with the Porygon line, as I'm not sure about it. Porygon is a Pokemon created by man inside of a computer that then got a physical form. It evolves with an upgrade, and then glitches out in its final evolution. So, being made of data means they are literally ones and zeros in a computer. Binary. And binary is just where electricity is and is not in the microchips. If there's electricity in a place, it's a 1. If not, it's a 0. Repeat billions of times. So this means Porygon is literally electricity. Its Pokédex entries even say so. A Pokemon that consists entirely of programming code. So it's no wonder that it learns so many electric moves. So why isn't it electric type? It would be the most literal electric Pokemon there is. I mean, I could even settle for electric normal. As a later Pokédex entry says, it can convert its body into digital data. So then, okay, it isn't digital data always, but then that begs the question, when it is physical, what is it? Is it like hard steel? Or is it kind of plasticky, rubbery, latex? I guess whatever it is, it's normal. Hence it's the normal type. But I'm pretty sure normal electric would work too. And then there's Zangoose, which is what happens when anime goes too far with
He
a
looks pissed.
mongoose. I mean, first up, it's just an edgy mongoose, so normal type works, but I'd make it normal dark myself. Its Pokedex entries are all about how aggressive it
make it
is,
pretty dark.
and its intense, bitter rivalry with Seviper. Now that sounds like a dark type attitude to me, and there are other dark type Pokemon with way smaller, worse reasons for being dark type. Plus, dark type just fits with this edgy design. And now we've covered all of the normal flying and the just normal Pokemon. This next set of Pokemon are dual type Pokemon that start with normal that aren't also flying. So these Pokemon are a little less normal, but still normal enough for the type, I guess. For instance, both Meloetta forms. One is normal psychic and the other is normal fighting. She has these types because she does have psychic and fighting abilities, but she's more so about song and dance. And normal is the stand-in sound type. So there, that's the same reasoning for the singing pudding balloons that are
Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. Normal sound powers. Azurill is a cute as heck mouse thing, and it's normal fairy.
Sad
When it
too.
evolves, it swaps its normal for water type, so I assume the idea here is that Azurill can't swim very well, so it's
That's
not
why
water
he's sad.
type yet. It still
scared
needs
of
to
water.
learn. I imagine it's hard to swim
Yeah.
without fins or arms. And if you take a watery Pokemon and remove the waterness from it, it's just normal. Bidoof also gains water when evolving. As a Bibarel, it is now normal water type. Easy to see, as its body is still relatively the same. So the normal typing here is a good example of
looking
what
up
I
at?
mean when I say it's still normal, just not
Superman.
as normal. As now it is able to swim super well
Okay.
and use
It's
some water
playing with
moves.
Superman.
It has a mastery over water, and it controls the flow of rivers with its dams because it's a beaver. It has a boring normal beaver body. It's just like Deerling and Sawsbuck. I mean, look at them. They are just normal deer, but with plants growing on them, so they are normal grass. Girafarig is also just a giraffe crossed with an okapi, so it has a super
Something on
normal
its butt.
body, but it also happens to have
Yep.
a few psychic powers. So, normal psychic. Same with Oranguru. It's a regular everyday orangutan. It just happens to also have psychic powers. Diggersby is a plain normal rabbit, but it also has excavator ears that let
Yeah.
it dig super fast,
Huge crazy
so it
ears.
gained the ground type. And Stuffle and Beware are a stuffed red panda and a red panda mascot suit guy. They have normal, cuddly, soft, typical bodies, but they also happen to be super strong and know how to fight well. So, normal fighting type. Drampa, though, is a bit weird.
Drampa?
Normal dragon? I mean, what's normal about being a dragon? I can't use the
Yeah.
same logic as before. Oh, it's got a normal body, so it's normal type. Because,
yeah.
I guess it has a normal
far as
body for
dragons
a
go, it's pretty normal.
dragon, so it's a dragon's body. This dragon has a dragon's body because it's a dragon. What's so normal about this when there are other dragony Pokemon that are just dragon type? Is it because it's a grandpa? Is it the fluff? Loads of normal type Pokemon are just fluffy animal things.
Yeah,
so
'cause it's
maybe
a dragon and a
also
grandpa.
maybe
Grandpas are
the
normal.
Origin will help.
Dragons.
It's based on Zhu Long, a Chinese serpentine dragon that invented day and night cycles and has the head of an old man. Now, I don't know what you think, but I think that's anything but normal. Is this another not normal Pokemon? Do its Pokedex entries say anything? Oh, it likes to play with and protect kids? Geez, it's gonna have its comments disabled. That joke's gonna get dated. Does it learn a ton of normal type moves? I mean, it does learn plenty, but in my comparisons, there were loads of other dragon type Pokemon that learned the same number of normal type moves. Sometimes plenty more. So, is there a good reason for Drampa being normal type? No! But that doesn't mean there isn't a reason. It's just not a good reason. I think we all hear what you're trying to say, Game Freak. You made Drampa normal because even you think that normal type Pokemon are boring, right? That must be it. It's an old, boring man. Dragon. It's lame, so it's normal. You're so rude to my sweet, sweet Skitty. Hashtag not all normals. But really though, Drampa's reasoning may be just that. Or perhaps in its origin, it's the dragon that created day and night cycles and like day and night's very normal. Well now, last category, secondary normal Pokemon. So Pokemon who are dual typed with the second type being normal. So they are even less normal than the previous group. And there's only 3 lines to cover. First we have Alolan, Rattata, and Raticate. Same normal type reasoning as their mainland plant forms, meaning it's because it's a rat and a muskrat, but these ones have turned into little thieves that rummage and ruin in the night, and bring food to their gluttonous mob boss. The darkness has taken over, thus the dark type on top of their
have a mob
normalness.
boss?
Next is
Mob
Liliana
boss
and
mouse in
Pyroar.
Dragon
They
Ball
are
Super?
fire-breathing lions, and that's all there is to it. They breathe fire, so fire type. But otherwise, they are just lions. They have
Which is
normal lion bodies. They aren't like the other mammalian fire-type Pokemon that have fire literally sticking out, like Quilava and Infernape. They are just lions, with fire sacs on the inside, so their outside body is normal. And lastly, Helioptile and Heliolisk. Electric normal. So again, the normal here is in relation to its body. They are just lizards, a combination of the frilled neck lizard,
Looks like a lizard dog.
basilisk, and a spotted salamander. Fun fact, spotted salamanders are able to photosynthesize, meaning they get energy from the sunlight, which falls in line with these solar panel Pokemon. They charge their internal batteries this way, which means they aren't able to just generate their own electricity like most other electric Pokemon do. They have to get it from somewhere else, in this case, the sun. So by default then, perhaps their bodies are just normal. They just happen to also be able to manipulate electricity. Thus, electric normal. And those were the best explanations I could come up with. Anyway, so did I miss anything? Got any cool things to add? You let me know down below, and while you're down there, check out that series I mentioned that's all about Pokemon moves.
I mean, if you're gonna be a dragon, and you're the only dragon in normal type, then gotta be the best one. Drampa. Yeah, and so that one, and then like the Tungly, this with his huge ass tongue, and the one that he didn't name, I thought was pretty funny as well. Obviously because of the big fat ass tongue, and he was even bigger. And then he had like on his belly like the upside down Wi-Fi.
I think it's hilarious that there are rats with a mob boss. That one definitely stuck out. I do like the one that was like the rabbit, squirrel, ferret combo, just because it was really cute. I mean, there were a lot in here that were really cute, you know, because they were normal animals. So yeah, I think that's what stuck with me was more the adorable animals than anything.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess also the fact that like I've known about a mongoose, but I think that like even like picture wise, I think that was the first like mongoose I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, like I'm trying to think. I'm just like I don't know if I ever saw a mongoose like like at the zoo or whatever. Maybe I just looked past it, but like when it popped up, I'm like, that's not what I thought a mongoose would look like. I don't know what I thought it was gonna look like, but yeah. So that's something else I took away from it. Like everything else was pretty like normal-ish. The ones based on like some like Japanese myths are always cool. Like the one that had like the hand for a tail.
Oh yeah. I also liked, what was it called? I'm going to forget the name of it.
That's okay. Names. There's so many getting thrown out here at us that.
That's true. I did like in the explanation of like normal animals for like the West and Japan versus what they consider like the more exotic or the not normal.
Mm.
I appreciated that the bird-eating tarantula was on a hand so that we had something for scale. And that was a big freaking spider.
Yes, it was.
I had heard about bird-eating tarantulas. I think it might have been the first time I heard about it was when I took a family trip to Costa Rica.
They said, watch out for the bird-eating tarantulas.
Well, I looked up what scary things are in Costa Rica, and because we were gonna go on like a walk through the jungle, and like there's not a whole lot there that's terribly scary, in terms of like the general snake insects world, but the spider, that was one of the first things to come up.
Damn.
Yeah. And like they just showed the spider. So like I think that seeing it on a hand was the first time I had something to like consider the scale of the size, and that's an intense spider.
I mean, I don't like intense spiders.
No, not so much. I will always like a Pokemon named Jigglypuff.
I remember Jigglypuff from the first like Smash Brothers on Nintendo 64. Kirby was my main, but like Jigglypuff was the other one that I kind of like would try to play with every now and then.
I mean, he's so cute, and how could you not like something with the name Jigglypuff?
It is a great name.
Yeah.
Let us know some of your favorites down below in the comments. And if you want all of our Pokemon reactions, we got a playlist for you. And if you want early access for our reactions, then check out the link in the description of this video for Patreon, or hit the little join button down below as well.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching our reaction for every normal type of Pokemon explained, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.